This is the Real Life Runners Podcast, episode number 429. Today, we are finishing up our series on core values with core value number 5, teamwork. What the heck does teamwork have to do with you as a real life runner that may or may not actually be on a team? Believe it or not, teamwork applies to not only your running, but all areas of your life. So let's chat about it. Stay tuned. What's up, runners? Welcome back to the Real Life Runners Podcast and our core value series, where today we're talking about core value number 5.
It's teamwork time, and teamwork makes the dream work. So this episode is going to just be awesome.
Because Kevin's going to say teamwork makes the dream work multiple more times, probably.
Possibly.
So those of you that are new to the podcast, welcome. We have been doing a little core value series over the last few weeks that has stemmed from our work with our high school cross country team. So every year we come up with a set of core values for the team, and they are similar, but we often tweak them a little bit. And so we were thinking about ideas for the podcast and said, you know what, let's take these core values that we've put forth in our cross country team and talk about how they apply to us as real life runners. And so I think that so far we've talked about integrity, respect, commitment, and resilience. And so if you haven't caught those episodes, I would suggest going back to those. You definitely don't have to listen to those before you listen to this one. But teamwork is an interesting one, I think, when we look at our lives as real life runners with real lives, and most of us aren't on some sort of formal type of team.
I feel like most people listening to this podcast are probably not on any sort of formal team. Maybe they've got some people...
Unless you're part of our real life runners team, which is awesome.
That's very true. But a lot of our real life runners team is scattered around the world. And so it doesn't feel like a team in the same sense as like when I ran cross country in high school, that was a team.
Right, as kids gathering after school every single day and running together.
That feels a whole heck of a lot more like a team. Yeah. My alarm going off at 5 and heading out to run in the dark does not feel as much like a team sport as our cross country kids getting together at 3:30.
Yeah, I would agree that it's different, but I still think that what we're going to talk about today, I have a feeling all of you are going to be able to apply to your life, whether or not you are a part of our real life runners team or any other team. Maybe you're part of a local running group. Like, so those are some of the more obvious ways that this applies, but there's ways that you might not expect where this also applies. So it really matters for us to talk about this because running can often feel and seem like a very individual sport. And we even talk about this with our cross-country kids because a lot of them come into running maybe not even realizing, like they know that they're on a team and they know that they're doing this with other people, but running does tend to feel very individual. However, when we start to see teamwork and we start to really embrace it and the power that it has, it can play a really big role in our growth and our success as runners.
I think the more that the kids latch on to the teamwork, it really helps the overall team improve. Yes, it is a collection of individuals. Any team is just a collection of individuals, but when everybody's just fighting for themselves instead of uniting towards a common cause, I think that common cause creates a lot of motivation within each other. It creates a lot of the benefits of teamwork because you're all striving towards the same thing. A few years ago, there was that big push on that team that they really wanted to get to the state meet as a full team, not just have a couple kids individually qualify, but as a whole team. And that was the year that I suggested, okay, fine, you make it as a whole team and you can color my hair whatever color you want it. And it added to some fun of chasing a very difficult physical goal. But they were really united in this, we're going to get to the state meet as a whole group. And it tied the whole group together, I thought.
Yeah, I agree. And making your hair pink and purple was also, I think, a very motivating factor.
I think it was like a little bonus that they got. I think as the season wore on, that was less exciting for them than how close they were to getting to the meet. Like, they kept seeing their times get faster. They kept seeing how close they were. I was giving them comparisons to the other teams. And as that goal kept getting closer and closer to in their grasp, I think they were like, and we get to color his hair pink. Like, it was just like a bonus add-on, but that was beyond the point at that point.
Yeah, I agree. And it might be time to start bringing that into our conversation this year now, too. Start giving the team an idea of where we stand, don't you think?
Oh, no, definitely. Yeah.
Because we haven't done that yet. So I think it's time for us to bring that piece in. So before we jump into today's episode, I want to invite you, if you are listening to this episode when it is released here, which is this one's actually coming out in October because we're recording it in September, but the release date of this one is actually October 2nd. So if you are listening to this episode during that week, I want to invite you to join the 8 days of giveaways. I'm actually running a special promotion right now because, Kevin, did you know that a couple of days ago we celebrated our 8-year podcast anniversary?
I did. The podcast player sent me an email. It said, congratulations on your anniversary.
Did it really?
Yes, it did.
Oh, that's fun. But yes, so we have been recording this podcast for the last 8 years, and we have only missed 1 week recording the podcast in 8 years.
I have missed multiple weeks. The podcast has missed one. Yeah, I've lost my voice a few times. You've done plenty of solo episodes.
Yeah, you did a solo episode once too. That was good.
I did.
But there was one, I forget what week it was, but it was like early on in our podcasting journey. I want to say it was within the first or second year. I think because we started this in 2017. I want to say that the week that we missed was somewhere in 2018 or 2019. But yeah, we only have missed 1 week out of 8 years, which I am really freaking proud of. And I think that demonstrates a lot of the core, all 5 really of the core values that we're talking about today. Integrity, doing what we said we were going to do. Because when we started this podcast, I said I wanted to release a weekly podcast, and we've done that pretty much, -1. Resilience, definitely coming back when things get hard, and especially when we don't have a podcast topic to talk about. Definitely resilient.
Or we're just so tired. And it's like, all right.
Like tonight.
Yeah. Or that happens a lot. That it's like, we're so tired and we've got to get the podcast out. We've got to get it recorded so it can get processed and put out there. That's happened a few times. Did we make it through Christmas break of 2017 making podcasts? Because like I had a seizure in the middle of that Christmas break. So I feel like that may have been the time we missed.
It might have been. I think that it was actually a little bit after that. I want to say that it was like a week in February where things just went awry. But it might have been, I don't remember exactly. But yes, and then obviously commitment and respect for you as our listeners and respect for the commitment that we made. And then, of course, teamwork, because not only have we gotten together and done the vast majority of these podcast episodes together, which has been great, but we've also have had guests, and I've done solo episodes, and you've done a solo episode, and we also have a team that supports us. I have someone that edits, or she doesn't really do much editing, to be honest, because we pretty much just hit record and then hit play, but she publishes the episodes. She adds the music to it, and she publishes the episode and helps me with some social media from the episode. So we have a team with this podcast. And so it is definitely has been and continues to be a labor of love. So we wanted to celebrate that with you all. So I came up with this idea of doing 8 days of giveaways to celebrate 8 years of the podcast. So you can go back and catch up. And if you want to do all 8 of the days, that would be fantastic. But today, on the day that we're recording this, like today's activity was to leave a review for the podcast. So I'm going to ask you to do one thing to support the podcast. And then I am going to, if you do that thing, you'll be entered to win that day's prize. So the prize today is a Real Life Runner shirt, which is awesome. And we're going to have various prizes to give away throughout the 8 days and various things that we're going to ask you to do in order to enter that prize giveaway drawing. That's the teamwork that I'm going to be asking of you guys, because this podcast would not exist if it weren't for all of you. You are the reason that we do this every single week. You are the reason that we stay up late and record when we are exhausted, that we come up with new ideas, that I reach out and I find amazing guests to bring to you all, because we love helping you. We love hearing from you. And those of you that have ever reached out and left us a review or sent us an email or posted something on social media and let us know how the episodes have impacted you and your running in your life, I just want to say thank you, because that is the reason that we continue to do this. And when I get those emails, when I get those notes or those DMs or those comments from you all, talking about how this podcast has helped you or has changed your life or changed your running in any way, it's just further reinforcement of why we're doing this. And so please keep those messages coming. If you haven't left a review on the podcast, I would love to ask you to do so, because when you leave those reviews, it really does help other people find the show and help us to reach new runners and help more people.
Which is ultimately why we do this all, is to try to help more runners enjoy the running experience. Running is not difficult, and this whole episode is about teamwork, and this podcast, I think, helps bring runners together and realize that we're all sort of part of this running team.
Did you just say running is not difficult?
No, I said running is difficult.
Oh, okay.
At least I was aiming to say running is difficult.
I was
like you pointed out, I'm tired.
So late.
But no, running is difficult, and having other people around, but that's not all that teamwork is. To bring this back onto point here, teamwork is not just working together. There's a whole lot more involved in the aspect of teamwork. Teamwork is support, it's encouraging other people, it's...
Hold on, I have to tell them how to join the 8 days of giveaways, don't you think?
Okay, go.
So sorry to interrupt you, but you tried to cut me off here. I wasn't ready for that.
I was not trying to cut anything off. I got an email
Bring it back around.
There you go.
So they have to be on the email list. Essentially, that's because you got the email that I sent out. But yes, if you want to participate in the 8 days of giveaways, you have to either be a part of our email list. That's where all of the details will be sent out every single day, or follow us on social media on Instagram at Real Life Runners, because I will be posting on our Instagram stories every day as well. So make sure that you're on our email list. You can go to our website, realliferunners.com, and sign up to be on our email list there, or you can follow us on social media. Okay, so bring it back to teamwork. It's not just about working together.
It's something about that makes the dream work, I think, is roughly where the topic is.
Perfect.
All right.
That's number 2.
So it's not just working together. It's support. It's encouragement. Like, you don't have to be working together, cheering for each other. That is teamwork. It's providing a source of accountability. It's the common purpose, whatever that is. Even if you're not directly working with another person, like, there is a team all doing a workout together. There's something to be said for a group of people knocking out like 10 by a 400. But knowing that you and somebody else are both training for a similar goal, even if you're never sharing miles with them, that is a common purpose that you're aiming for. Or maybe the common purpose of simply there is a fall race that 2 people are training for. That could be the common purpose. All of these are different aspects of teamwork, and all of them provide a whole heck of a lot of benefit towards every person involved.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that running can be lonely. It can be a solitary type of activity, but it rarely is successful in isolation, right? So that's where the distinction lies. It can be solitary, but it's rarely successful in isolation, because on a team, everyone contributes, even if your results are individual. And that actually expands out if you're not a part of like a traditional type of team, like the cross-country team. It still expands out to the rest of your life, because you as a real life runner have a team whether you realize it or not. So when we talk about it on the cross-country team, we talk about that support. We talk about supporting your teammates. Even if you are on the varsity team, it's a great idea that you will stick around and cheer on the junior varsity runners, the JV runners, or vice versa. Just being there at the tent, helping each other get ready and make sure everybody has the numbers, and then going out and cheering for the runners out on the race. All of those things are very important. Showing up for practice, that is a big part of teamwork, because the kids, they know like they have more fun when their friends are there. It's, yes, they are runners and they like running, at least most of them do, but it's a lot more fun when you're there doing it with your friends.
And it's a lot easier to not do it if other people start not showing up to the practice. Mm-hmm. That's where the accountability shows up of teamwork, is if everybody shows up, everybody's practice starts at 3:20, so time to go to practice, then that's what everybody does. As you start losing a few people, it makes it easier and easier for the next person to be like, oh, I guess I don't also need to go to practice today. So it works both directions. You can really help encourage people towards bigger goals, but you can also help people slide and let things drift away and lose all sorts of motivation and accountability.
Yeah, we talked to them about that in the race too. If you are in a race and you are running with your teammate and you notice that your teammate is starting to slow down, you can slow down with them. That is an option. Or you can encourage them to stay with you, right? You can cheer them on and say, come on, let's go. We're still in this. And so how does this apply to us as real life runners. Like we mentioned, the obvious way are those of you that are part of any sort of training, like a running club or a training team, like even a virtual online community like our Real Life Runners team. If you have running buddies, like even if it's 1 or 2 people that you train with or run with, you don't have to do it alone. And even if you don't have any people in person, there's tons of Facebook groups and all sorts of online running communities that you can be a part of. Now, I will say that with an asterisk, and I will say please be very careful which running groups you are a part of, because I've been a part of a lot of different running groups online, and some of them are toxic places to be. I think that there's a lot of bad advice that gets given out in those running groups. You have to be very careful and very choosy what kind of information you want to listen to, and I highly recommend that you join a group, and if there's a coach in charge of that group, if the information is being vetted in any way, just be careful what you listen to and what you consume, because there's also a lot of comparison in those groups, and there can be a lot of jealousy and all sorts of ickiness. So choose wisely. If you're choosing an online community, I highly encourage you to choose wisely and be very careful with what you choose to be a part of.
Yeah, the online group, and we've got an online group. Like, our team exists around the world, like I said earlier, but I still feel very much connected to the team. Like, when I race, I put on a Real Life Runners racing shirt, and I feel like I am part of this team. Whether there are other people in the race that have that shirt or not, to me, that is me showing up as part of this team. And so I'm putting forth the effort surrounded by my teammates. Whether they are physically there or elsewhere, it's still part of a whole team thing. And I think that is super helpful, because it's not saying that the weight of this entire race is on me. It's saying I'm heading to this race with support of others, with a whole crew with me.
Yeah, and that's who you're representing also, right? Because teamwork is also about your support crew. And this is really where I think teamwork is the strongest. Like, the biggest thing that we have to think about as real life runners is who is a part of your team, like your family, your friends, coaches, healthcare providers. Like, who do you work with that helps to support you in the thing that you are doing? And that could look like your spouse that is not a runner, that maybe just supports you that in your crazy goals or your crazy dreams, or maybe not crazy. I don't really like to use that word. Actually, I do like to use that word. I use it as more of a badge of honor because I think it's a good thing. Like, I'm a big fan of being crazy, but maybe they don't do it. Maybe they don't really understand it, but they support you. Maybe they're a runner also, but they just don't run 100 miles. And so they don't understand why you would ever want to do that. But they wake up and they drive lots of hours to support you, and they pack up the car. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn, because there's a lot of people that do this, not just me. And that's a huge thing for you to celebrate. So if you have a spouse, a partner, a friend that is like that for you in your corner, that is there cheering you on at a race or holding up a sign, even if they don't understand what's going on, they are a part of your team and they are a part of your support crew. And if you're really, truly honest with yourself, you couldn't do it without them. Like, you probably could for a while, but how long do you think that would really last?
Yeah, have you been at every long distance race that I've ever run?
I want to say yes.
Like, you were at my first marathon, completely unsure of what the heck was going on, but you had a sign.
Yeah, I was not a runner at that point. This was our senior year of college. And I still hated running at that point in time. Definitely thought there was a cute boy with dimples that I was going to cheer in Chicago.
Which was like the full point of you going. Like, that was it. It wasn't like, oh man, it's going to be great to go watch a marathon.
No, I was also visiting my friend that lived in Chicago, so that was fun also.
But that was unrelated to the marathon. That was related to Chicago.
Yeah, exactly. But I had no idea why you and Mark were doing this. Kevin ran the Chicago Marathon with his best friend and roommate at the time, our senior year of college. But we, at that point, had been together about 6 months, because we got together a little bit longer than that, because we got together in April officially. Yeah, about 6 months.
Yeah, about 6 months.
About 6 months, because Chicago's in October.
I want to say October, yeah. It's coming up.
Yeah, so we had been dating about 6 months at that time, and I didn't understand it at all, but I made you a sign and slept on my friend's floor and supported Chicago.
There you go.
Yeah.
And you've been at every race since, and there are plenty of races from the beginning. Like, I remember sitting on the ground at mile 22, like, I couldn't even make it to the curb. My calves completely seized up, and so I'm just, like, sitting on the side of the road, and I knew that I still had 4 miles to go because you were at the finish line. Like, I had passed the last time that I could see you during the race.
Yeah,
and
because
so
I saw you at like 21 and a half.
Yeah, so I knew I had 4 more miles to go or I wasn't going to be able to see you. So you have been very motivational from the very beginning. You have helped me to many finish lines that I don't think I could have made it to without you out there. Aww. So you point out that there are other people doing this. You've crewed me at some ultras, and you watch vans full of people and just families unloading out of these giant vans and setting up like a whole picnic table out behind them. The support crews at these longer races are crazy.
They're amazing. Like, they're amazing. I remember the first one that we did, well, because the first couple of ultras that you did were running down the road.
Yep.
So I didn't really have the same level of interaction with the other crews that were there, because it was just, I had us and we were the crew in the car and we were just following you down the road. And I talked to a couple of people at some of the stops that when we were waiting for you, but that last ultra that you did, where it was kind of camp style, like we just sat in a parking lot, a field really, not a lot, but we parked in a field and waited for Kevin to come see us 6 times throughout the course of the day.
Yeah, I saw you every 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah.
So that was the craziness.
But it was really cool because that's what all of them were doing too, and they all had their camping chairs and they were just sitting out and just hanging out, and here I was like, okay, we saw him once, let's go to get Starbucks.
Yep.
I didn't know what I had signed up for here.
I really hope I get into that one again. That's going to be a blast.
Oh, I think I will be much better prepared this time. If you have someone, and maybe you're not into marathons or ultras, and that's cool too. Do you have someone that goes to a 5K with you? Or do you have other friends at that 5K? Or maybe just those people that you know, that you see at your local 5K that you know are probably going to be there, even if you don't know their name, or those people that you see on your Tuesday morning runs at 5:30 in the morning, because you know that if you run Tuesday mornings at 5:30, that person's going to be out there too. And you don't even know their name. You don't know what they're doing, but in a way, they're also a part of your support system. Like, I enjoy going out when I'm out on my runs and seeing those people. And when I don't see the same people, I'm like, oh, I wonder where that girl is today. Orange Sports Bra girl or whatever it is. Yep. Like, you think about those people and you're like, oh, I hope everything's okay. And maybe she's out of town, or maybe I hope she's not sick or anything. But those people are a part of your routine.
Yeah, there was a guy that I saw all summer long on the loop that I did, and it was right around the start of school year, and we always crossed each other going the opposite direction. And as I got to him, he started waving both hands. And I'd seen him for the last, couple of months, and he waved both of his hands at me to get me to stop. And he goes, I just wanted to let you know I'm heading back to New York, so you're not going to see me on the loop anymore.
Aww.
To make sure that I wasn't worried about him. Like, he let me know, I'm going back up. Oh, okay, have a great time.
Aww.
But I'd seen that guy most days for the last several months. It made sense. It was like he was saying bye, and you don't have to worry about me. I'm good.
Which I think is so cool, because clearly you're a part of his running crew.
Yes.
And I think that's really cool to think about it also. You never know whose support crew you're a part of either. Like, just by asking somebody, hey, how's your running going? Or, hey, how's your training? Are you signed up for a race? Like, just expressing interests in someone else's running or fitness journey, I think says a lot and means a lot to people, more than we might realize.
That's why I like my runs that I don't have to do in the pitch black, because I don't recognize all the people out there, and I can't exactly see who it is. Yeah. There's not a lot of conversation. And even in the daylight, it's not like I stop and have conversations with people, but I give the smile and the wave. If it looks like they're pushing, I'm like, oh, looking good, looking strong. Like, I try and say something positive to whoever I'm running, either opposite directions or the same direction, whatever it is that we're doing. I try to send some sort of positive message toward that person, but at 5:30 in the pitch black, I don't always send that message. I recognize that person. They might recognize me, but there's not always a whole lot of talking. There's one guy that I pass most mornings that if I'm pushing, he will always send words of encouragement back. Of, looking fast this morning.
Yeah.
And that's amazing to hear. So if anybody ever out running has said something positive to you and you were like, oh, wow, that means so much. It seems like it's coming from a stranger, but if that's ever made an impact on your run, think about how you could do that to everybody that you see when you're out running and how nice that would be for them.
Yeah, I agree. And the other thing I want to mention too, and I wasn't really planning on this, it just popped into my head, is that if you don't have, or if there's a family member or a friend that maybe is not outwardly supportive of your running, it might not mean anything negative. It might just mean that they don't understand it and they don't understand how important it is to you. So tell them. I think that that's a really important thing. Because like for me, my mom has been one of the most supportive people in my entire life. And I love her dearly. She's always been there for me. I have so many good things to say about my mom. But my mom did not come to my first half marathon. And that hurt me a lot because I was like, how could she not be there? And I actually brought it up to her relatively recently and told her that really was hurtful. Like I was upset about that. And she was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. She's like, but don't I just get to see you like one time? And I was like, yeah, but that's not the point. But non-runners don't understand that. And so if you have someone in your life that it's important to you that they support you, have some more conversations with them, because my mom just genuinely didn't understand, because I was never a runner. I always hated running when I was athletic and into sports and on different teams. And she came to all of my games and was always super supportive. But this whole running thing was just an individual thing, I think, in her mind. Like she just didn't understand it. And like, it was upsetting to me, but at the same time, I never expressed to her that it was important for her to be there to me. And that's on me. Like, I think that if I would have told her, I think I just assumed that she would know, or I just expected her to be there, but I never expressed that. That's on me. And I think that if there is somebody that you feel that way with, I would just encourage you to have a conversation with that person and tell them how important it is to you, and tell them how much it would mean to you if they showed up at your race. My mom was like, wait, you want me to wake up at 6 a.m. and drive? What are you talking to just stand on the side of the road? She just didn't get it. And I was like, yeah, but that's what you do. And so I think that's a helpful conversation to have.
It's a helpful conversation. It's also helpful to figure out what it is that you expect out of them, and maybe even help coordinate things for them. Because especially at something longer, like a half marathon or a full marathon, there is some logistics in coordinating how to see somebody multiple times. Or if you're only going to be able to see them once, all right, you can see me at this part, and then there's a coffee shop right here that you can hang out at, and then in about an hour, I'll be back, and then we can meet up after the race here.
Yeah.
Like, you might want to actually put some coordination for them,
yeah,
especially if this is a non-runner that does not get it at all.
Yeah, for sure. I think that would be a good idea. So there are people in your life. So whether you realize it or not, those people that love you and that are in your life, they're supporting you, and you probably wouldn't be where you are without them. So say thank you. Realize that they are a part of your team, and that requires some teamwork. And teamwork also requires communication. So don't be upset if you haven't communicated certain things to them as well. And the cool thing about all these core values, including teamwork, is that they all extend beyond running. And teamwork carries over into your real life in so many ways. In your family, like, you have to have teamwork in the family. Like, just think about tonight, right? Tonight, we definitely had some teamwork going on with we had to have someone over because now we are in the dog adoption process, and some of these rescue organizations have very extensive application processes. So we actually had to have a home visit tonight where they took pictures of our house and made sure that we are who we say we are, I guess. So
I'm not sure.
Yeah, so it was pretty wild. So we all had to be home for that. Like, all four of us have to be there. And then our oldest daughter had a college fair, and so I took her to that, and Kevin stayed home and made dinner, and then we stopped at the grocery store on the way home, and there's all these different moving pieces. And so in family life, then there was dishes afterwards. Somebody washes, somebody dries, somebody wipes off the counter and clears the table. There's a whole lot of teamwork involved in family life all the time. If you're trying to get kids to various places, and that's our tomorrow, Tuesday night, we've got kids in all sorts of different places.
Tuesday night just screams teamwork. Like, it has to be well coordinated and well communicated as to who's moving in which direction. It is a dance that we get to play out here, and that is teamwork. That is parenting, and it's a great. You are an amazing teammate, and
you are an amazing teammate also.
I try my best. I am a niche role player. I'm like it's like on a basketball team. Angie's clear. She's running the point. She's also the two guard. She's the center. You're probably
I don't think I'm the center
of our family unit, definitely.
But I'm definitely not the tallest one on the court.
And the power forward. And I'm that one that's just, I'm going to set up around the 3-point arc. I've got my role, and this is what I'm going for.
Yep. We all have different roles, but that's the beauty of teamwork, is that you find people on your team that support you. And I couldn't do what I do in life without you. Like, you are the best team player. And I didn't realize we were going to get a little mushy on this, but this is what it is. Like, even this business, you have supported me 100% in my crazy ideas of, I'm going to stop doing physical therapy and create a whole online coaching business. And you're like, yep, let's do it. Like, you support me, and I couldn't do what I do without that love and support from you.
Yeah, and that allowed me to do something crazy, like I'm going to start running 100-milers.
Yeah.
Because both of us were like, this is the thing. This is the thing that I'm going to do that's going to bring the joy, but I'm going to need a whole heck of a lot of support from you. And that's where teamwork comes in. And sure, mine is related to a running goal, but it doesn't really matter what it is.
Yeah.
Like, it's the teamwork that helps you, that makes you feel supported, that says, I'm going to try this crazy thing, and I don't know how successful it's going to be, but I feel supported in the process, so it's okay if I don't have immediate success, because the people that I have surrounded myself with, my team, gets it. They get the importance of this, and they will be there regardless of the outcome of this week or next year. They're here to support me and my efforts.
Yeah, and I think that one of the big things with teamwork, like one of the important points, is that in order to be a good team member, you have to both give and receive support. And I think for some of us, that can be the hardest thing. Like, we're very good at giving, and we're not as good as receiving sometimes. And I think that's really what teamwork teaches us how to do, and what running teaches us how to do. We have to be able to both give and receive support. And I think about your race. I know you've told this story before, and I'll let you tell it here, but when you were coming up against the time deadline, or in your head, the time deadline for Daytona, the Daytona 100, where you had wanted to finish before midnight, and you were getting really upset about it.
Yeah, because I'm doing the math, and I'm trying to do math after running for over 12 hours, so math is not working.
The math is not mathing.
That, as the kids like to say.
6, 7.
A good one. But I was capable of doing math enough that I knew that midnight, the goal deadline, the Cinderella hour, was getting really small. The chances of actually crossing on the same day were getting really slim, and I came to you at an aid station. I'm like, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make midnight. And you said something to the effect of, okay, we're still going to be here. And it was just like, it wasn't like you didn't have to give me this giant raw speech. It was just like, that's okay. You're still going to get to the finish line, and we're still going to be here the whole time. And I didn't need a giant raw speech. I just needed that support. I needed it to be okay that I wasn't going to make it to midnight. Because in my head, I'm like, everybody had to get up so early. They're driving down the side of the road. This has got to be awful for them. So at least if I could do my best to get them done by midnight so we could all just go home and go back to the hotel and sleep, that would be my doing my part, is maybe we can get to bed at a reasonable hour.
To be fair, both of the girls fell asleep in the back of the car, so it truly didn't affect them. They were just sleeping away.
Okay, but you needed some sleep at some point, because then you also drove back the next day. I can't help on the drive the next day. I did suggest, not after Daytona, but after long haul last year, that I could have driven some of the way home. I definitely suggested that.
You did.
You said no. I think that was the whole conversation.
And maybe you laughed a little bit about it too.
I felt as though I was up to it.
No. Again, that's all we need is like a calf cramp as we're driving down the highway. Like, absolutely not. You know that this applies to you in your life, right? In your family, in your work, in relationships and friendships. Like, you have to both give and receive, because if you're giving all the time and you don't have that reciprocated, oftentimes that leads to resentment, and that's not going to take you a place where you want to go. Resentment's never going to lead to good things, because the stronger your team is, the stronger your support system is, the stronger you become individually. And that's exactly what Kevin's story, I think, just exemplified so beautifully, is because he felt the love and support from us, he was then able to finish that 100-mile race. And that was his first 100-mile finish, was that race.
Oh, yeah. No, if you had not given me that conversation, I'm not sure I would have made it to the finish line.
And it wasn't me. I didn't do it. But our support helped him be stronger as an individual. Like, you did that. That was your accomplishment for sure. But it was because of the love and support that you had that made you stronger and able to continue on.
Yeah, and that's why you need everybody. And you can't have that resentment, because the tighter the team is, the stronger each person is. It's so much easier to go after, if you want to call them crazy goals, I think that's a great word for it.
Yeah.
It's easier to chase after crazy goals when you are well supported by the people around you.
Yeah, especially when you know that they're going to love you and support you no matter what happens. And I think that's some of the beauty, too, of your non-running friends or family members that don't understand your running. They don't care what your time is on the clock or what distance you run. They think it's probably cool that you did a marathon, and they may or may not have any idea what your time means. Oh, is that good? Is that bad? But they're going to love you anyway, and they're going to think that you're amazing just because you're out there doing it. And I think that's really important for us to acknowledge and be extremely grateful for, because that's going to help you in your running and really in the rest of your life. Some practical ways to cultivate teamwork in your running and your life is, number one, know who's on your team. Make a list. I would love for you to just take 5 minutes and journal and write down all of the people that support you in your running and in the rest of your life. And just then look at that list and look how supported you truly are. And that is going to give you so much of an opportunity for gratitude. And gratitude is the frequency that all of us need to tap into more often, because it helps to calm our nervous system. It helps to bring so much goodness into our lives. But if you actually write down all of the people and all of the ways that they have supported you, you're going to realize you have a lot of people on your team.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned your mom and your half marathon story earlier, but she's super supportive of my going off and running absurdly long distances, because she'll watch a dog. Like, or I need to go get in something. Yep. She's been supportive of us coaching.
Always.
Because she'll watch the girls. Like, whatever it is, she's there to help provide support. And she does not understand what is involved in running 100 miles. No. But she has sent a solid congratulations every time I've done it. Yeah. Because that's the support that she's providing. That's what makes sense.
Yeah, and my mom is the best. Yes, I told that one story, but again, I take responsibility for not communicating with her on how important that it was for her to be there. And I also maybe didn't realize how important it was until afterwards. I think that was a big part of it too, is that I didn't realize it until at the end when I was like, or maybe even afterwards. I don't remember exactly when, but then I realized, oh, I wish my mom was here.
Yeah, I remember shortly after you crossed the finish line, it seemed weird that your mom wasn't there for that accomplishment, but it didn't occur to you beforehand that you wanted her.
I think that also that's proof of asking for what you want to. I think I didn't want to ask her and inconvenience her because it would have required her to wake up at 5 or 6 a.m. and drive and to see me 1 or 2 times. Like, that to me was a big ask. And I did realize afterwards that it was important to me and I should have asked. But I think that's where we can sometimes grow. Like, that would be an area of growth, is really asking for the things that are important to you. And I think that's a good thing.
Excellent. All right. Another way to cultivate teamwork is simply to show up, because your presence matters. We talked about this in terms of teammates showing up for practice. The more people we have, the more likely we are to have everybody. As soon as you lose 1 or 2, you're more likely to lose 3, 4, and 5. Yeah. It's just more likely. That happens with everybody. If we're doing dishes after dinner, if one person can't do it, then the next person becomes slightly resentful that they're doing it, and then suddenly we're down to that person is only barely doing it, and now 2 people are doing most of the work. It all just starts falling apart. So show up and be part of the team.
Share your struggles as well as your successes. And I think that being a part of the social media world, it often feels like a major highlight reel. And oftentimes we look on to other people's posts and sometimes can feel bad about what we're doing or what's going on in our life. And so I think it's really important, as to be a good teammate, we also have to share the ups and the downs. Like, it's important for us to share our wins for sure, because your wins can help other people, inspire other people. And I think it's also important for us to be real in those times where things aren't going the greatest, because then people understand that they're not alone and that there's nothing wrong with them when things are down. And I think it's important for all of us to be better about that. I know that is something that has been very hard for me, to share my struggles openly, especially with being a presence, a personality online. Like, I'm not a major influencer at this point. I don't have hundreds of thousands of followers or anything like that. And at the same time, I do think that it is important for me. Hold on. I should go back and say, I don't have that many followers. And at the same time, I care about my reputation, right? I care about what other people think about me, because I do want to share my expertise and I want people to trust me. I want people to know that I know what I'm talking about. And sometimes I feel that if I share too many of my struggles, because obviously nobody wants to be dumped on, but if I share too many of the struggles, then people will be like, this girl has no idea what she's doing. When in reality, me showing my struggles is going to show you that I'm a real human being too. And that even though I am an expert and I do absolutely know what I'm talking about, me as a person and me as a runner, I can still experience those struggles as well.
Yeah, sharing the struggles, I think it brings the team closer together. It allows whatever team unit you're looking at they unify if people can share ups and downs.
Because you don't want to just share the struggles either.
You have the ups, and on following any cross-country race, some people on the team are going to have big success stories. Other people are going to be like, that was a terrible race for me. And it all kind of balances. And it's not a matter of comparison. It's not being like, oh, that person had a good race, so that was a good day for them, and that person had a bad race, and that was a struggle. And that doesn't balance. But the struggles of one person can be that person's lessons, but they can also be the lessons for the whole team. The success of one person could then lead to a lesson to somebody else. It's hard to learn a lot of lessons off of your own victories, but you can learn a lot off of somebody else's victories. It's easy to learn off of your own struggles, but you can learn just as much off of somebody else's struggles, and then maybe you don't have to experience those. So to be able to share the highs and the lows with the whole rest of your teammate, it unites the teammate, it creates a stronger team, and it allows lessons to be learned even faster. So that's why I think celebrating the highs, celebrating the lows, celebrate it all, because it's real and it brings the team closer together, but you also learn faster and get to more success.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, as always, celebrate your wins. Celebrate your wins. Celebrate your team wins. And your wins can be anything. It doesn't just have to be your PRs or your personal bests. every single Tuesday, we meet with our team on Zoom. Every Tuesday at 11 a.m., we meet on Zoom, and the first 10 to 15 minutes of every single call is sharing wins. And we always say no win is too small. So some wins, some people get on and they share that they ran their first marathon, or they ran their personal best 5K ever, or they ran their longest distance ever. And other people celebrate that they showed up this week, that they made it to the team call, that they did their run yesterday, even though they didn't want to, or even though they only got in 20 minutes and it was supposed to be a 45-minute on the calendar, or they got in one round of strength training. It's still a win. And I think it's really important for us to start to acknowledge more wins in our lives, because so many people measure their success by comparing where they are now to where they want to be, to some ideal future that they want to be, or to some goal that they have set for themselves. And they oftentimes don't look back at how far they've come. And it is so important for us to do that. And that is going to be such a good way for you to cultivate more teamwork in your own life as well. So I really want you to understand that teamwork is not about just being on a team of people that you run with on a daily or weekly basis. It's about taking your running experience and connecting with other runners or even non-runners, and using the wins, the ups, the downs in a way to continue to grow as a runner and as an individual.
Yeah, it's not about losing your individuality. It's about using the benefits of those people around you to improve as an individual. Okay, your individual journey is a solo process, but it is so influenced by the people around you. And so create a nice team around you. Acknowledge that you have a good team around you, and see what that support network is, because that is so much of your real life teammates.
Amen. So your challenge this week is to write down or just think about who is on your team in running and in life. And also, how can you be a better teammate this week to whoever it is that you want to reconnect with? Or how can you express gratitude to someone on your team this week, or show up in a better way than you have been? Like, I think it's important for us to realize sometimes we do go through periods where we are only focusing on ourselves, or focusing more on ourselves than we are on the other people in our lives. So this is an opportunity to do some self-reflection there too, and figure out how you can become a better teammate. And maybe that means asking for what you need. Maybe that means not giving as much this week as you always do, and asking other people on your team to step up and take some of the responsibilities off of your plate. I think that's also being a good teammate, because a good teammate doesn't just do it all. A good teammate asks her team for help also. So reflect on that. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and make sure that you join our 8 days of giveaways. So you can join that on our email list over at realliferunners.com. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, there's a section where you can put in your name and your email address. I think it's just your email address. And that will put you on our email list, so you'll get the rest of the emails in our 8 days of giveaways. And you can also follow us over on Instagram at Real Life Runners and learn about what the task is for every single day, and be entered to win the prize for that day. So as always, thanks for joining us. This has been the Real Life Runners podcast, episode number 429. Now get out there and run your life.